This is the Engage Your Destiny podcast, where your destiny is our mission. Serving our active military, veterans, and families. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Engage Your Destiny podcast. I'm Ben Peterson, blessed to be the founder and CEO of Engage Your Destiny. And I have one of my favorite guests on today, Willis Johnson, who is an incredible businessman and Vietnam veteran, who's going to tell us his story. But before we get to that, I want to remind you that Engage Your Destiny is advancing ministry and the love of Jesus on bases across America. We are now on 5 bases and rapidly expanding. Our program is supported by corporations and major donors so that when you make a donation today, 100% of your finances are going to go directly into the soldiers who are defending freedom all over the world. So I want to ask you to go to engageyourdestiny.org and to make a donation, support the work that we're doing, and join our fighting force so that we can fight for those who fight for us. All right, let's get into this conversation. So, Willis Johnson, I'm excited to read this bio here. So you were born in Clinton, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Lived all over.
Not just Oklahoma, Arkansas, and California. Now
Okay.
Tennessee.
And
Not all over.
You came from a family of 8.
Yes, 8 kids.
You were drafted into the Army in 1966.
66.
Went to Vietnam in 67.
Yes.
Hard year to be there. You were at FDC, Fire Directional Center.
Yep.
And then when the Forward Observer was killed, you got promoted
Promoted.
to Forward Observer.
That's what they said.
In your life, you have built a $40 billion business,
Yes.
which is an S&P 500 company, top 500 companies in the world. And you are married to Joyce for how many years?
57 years.
57 years. You have 3 kids, 9 grandkids, 9 great-grandkids, and you follow Jesus.
Yes.
It's awesome. So, starting at the beginning and growing up in Oklahoma.
I was born in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I grew up in Arkansas
So you grew up in Arkansas.
on a dairy.
Tell me about your dad.
Well, my dad, he went to the 5th grade because it was hard back there, back in the early years, back in the 20s and 30s.
School
So
was hard back then?
I think it was pretty hard. And he had to finish, he had to drop out of school to help to support his mom and dad. Then he got married, and my dad was really good at starting businesses because my mom could read to him because he couldn't read, but he knew how to start them.
Yeah.
And usually he could run it by himself, but as the kids got older, we all worked in the company with him. And when the company got too big, he did it over and over and over. When the company got too big that him and us kids couldn't run it, he put it on the auction block, and he auctioned everything off. So we might have been in doing some underground work for piping, and he decided he's going to do it. He put it on the auction block, and within a matter of weeks, we were in the lumber business. In a matter of weeks, was milking cows, and another time. So he just changed jobs every 2 years, but they always worked for himself. And us kids grew up working with Dad, which was better than going to college because we learned all kinds of stuff.
What did you learn seeing that tenacity from your dad? That, he couldn't read,
Yes.
but he kept going, he kept pushing, and he kept finding ways. What did that teach you?
Well, what happens is I think it was inbred in all of them, my sisters and brothers, that we never give up on something, and to work for yourself. Most of my sisters and brothers work for themselves.
Really?
They had small jobs in school, but right after that they went and started working for themselves. So it kind of it was embedded in us to work for yourself. We didn't know no better, and it's hard work ethics because we always had to get up early and go to school, and if we wasn't, we was working late. But to us kids, it wasn't a punishment or nothing. We just really enjoyed working around wherever he was doing, cleaning houses, or when he was building houses, or cleaning around the job sites, or whatever. And the girls didn't really go out on the jobs. They did. My middle sisters went out and helped us clean houses after he got them built to get all the stucco clean windows and stuff before he sold them. So some of my sisters did that, and the other sisters didn't. They all got married young when they were 17, and got out and did their own thing. And but anyway, we always and my mom was a really smart lady. She had really good common sense, and Dad would get the newspapers back before the internet stuff. She'd get the newspaper and read through the want ads, not the want ads, but for sale ads, and Dad would hear it and say, "Oh, I can do something with that."
Yeah.
And one time he woke up and he bought a big wrecking yard, old Red's wrecking yard up in Northern California, and there's probably a couple of thousand cars there, and the highway was going through. And me and him went up there, and I think I was only like 14.
Yeah.
And we went up and we crawled through the trees and marked all the cars. It was complete cars and not complete cars, and we had to put a sealed bid on them. And we did, and that taught me a lot about how he wanted to do it. Well, when we went in to turn the bids in,
For the cars.
for the
Yeah.
for the state of California, the other guys came in with business suits on, and they're all dressed nice, and we come in grimy and dirty because I was climbing on all the cars and putting X's on them. And
You were working.
and so was my dad, and everybody wrote a sealed bid and put it in a hat in the middle of the room, and they opened up the bids, and my dad was the high bidder, and because you only had 90 days to smash all the cars and haul them off to the smelter because the state wanted to put a highway in. So anyway, that taught me a lot about tenacity to what you take on a job, do it if it takes you 24 hours a day or all the time there is. Just don't give up on it. Once you get that in your head, go for the gusto.
And your dad won the bid.
He won the bid, and actually it was a good bid because before we left the room, a guy from Harris Club Car Collection come over and wanted to buy 20 something of his cars. I forgot 10 or 20 of them for $5,000, and Dad bought the whole thing for $15,000.
Wow.
And so that was a lot of money back. You could buy a brand new house for $12,000.
Wow.
So $15,000 was a lot of money. But the guy from Harris Club, he only wanted a few for his collection, so he gave him $5,000. Then another guy come up and said, well, he said he would give him $20,000 for the rest of it. No, 15, and Dad said no. So we left to eat, and Dad said, I said, why do you take it, Dad? We could have made a quick $10,000. And he goes, and that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And he said, now, you know what? He'll come back to me tomorrow. And the guy did come back and said, I'll give you 15 for it, or another 10 over it. So Dad made like $15,000 really quick, and then we packed up and went away.
Yeah.
And the guy took it over. So it's like, we went and counted everything, so we knew what we was bidding. The other guys were buying it by a hunch and figured nobody was going to outbid them on it. And the guy come in with overalls on and a son that was filthy dirty.
Yeah.
Outbid him. So that, and I'm in the auction business today. So that's what I do, because every time Dad got done with a business, he put it on the auction block.
How do you think your dad really got his savvy to outbid all these business guys? Did he just know these businesses better?
He knew what scrap iron was, what aluminum was, the copper was, all the precious metals in a car. And he knew where he could divide it all up and move that stuff around. And these other guys were just buying a bunch of scrap iron. They said, okay, back then scrap iron was $18 or $20 a ton. Well, he looked at the $18 a ton, but he looked at all the aluminum radiators and copper radiators and starters and alternators that could be sold for cores.
Yeah.
So he already knew that he could make more money on these vehicles. But that was but when he was in the lumber business, he would buy bulk lumber.
Yeah.
And sell it off. He put it out on his farm and started selling lumber off because he'd buy truckloads of lumber. And then we was in the construction business to tear down old buildings, and he figured, okay, if I tear them all down, I save these old doors and windows, I can sell them off. And
Wow.
so Dad always had a different way of
Just a
looking
scrapper.
at things. He was basically in the auction business, because within about a year and a half, 2 years, it all went on the auction block, and he started over.
And that's exactly what you've done.
And that's all I do is auction.
But you also, and we'll get into the business later, but you also take, your business has created businesses, in working with cars and working like you've, parts and auctions and, scrap yards and all that. Like, so your dad even tearing down these, warehouses and go, okay, we can sell these doors. You were watching your dad make more of something than
more out of junk.
Yes. Make more out of junk.
More out of junk.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that's basically the business I'm in. I'm in the scrap iron business, the junk business, recycling business, of used business. I don't sell nothing new. I'm just not in the new business.
Yeah.
there's different profits margins in that, because in the new stuff, you could buy it from anybody and you just have a markup.
Yeah.
On scrap, you don't know. You're taking your chances, but you got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because scrap iron's the only thing that's pretty constant, and it's only constant for 6 or 7 months. After that, aluminum goes up, copper goes up, catalytic converters goes up, and scrap iron goes up by tonnage.
Did your dad have faith? Did you grow up with faith in your home?
Yeah. I didn't go through the hard. Everybody's got a testimony when they come to Christ.
Yeah.
I think I was born a Christian. My mom and dad was Christians, and we went to Sunday school every Sunday, and we didn't know any difference. Just not to say there was a difference, but we was all a Christian family. When back in the day, we'd go to Sunday school and Sunday night church, then Wednesday night church, and then we'd go on revivals on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of Christian faith in our family.
Have you ever wondered how you can make an impact in the military? Have you ever sat back and said, man, I wish I would have served. I wish I could do more for this country. Well, today I want to call you into the fighting force. Guys, Engage Your Destiny is reducing suicide on military bases across the world, and we have 5 locations currently where we are doing direct ministry and follow-up with soldiers, and we have more bases that are opening up to us in New York, in Korea, in Kuwait, in places that I would have never even thought in my life could open up to us. And so that's where I'm making an appeal to you. This is only possible through donors and through the selfless sacrifice of you supporting our ministry on a monthly basis. I want to encourage you that benefactors as well as foundations have made our operational budget possible so that 100% of your gifts go directly towards soldiers in the military all over the world. When you partner with us, you're going to get one of our gift boxes, which is filled with some incredible treats that are going to bless your life, that you can wear, that you can show proudly, and that you can drink your coffee out of. So friends, come and join the fighting force, and let's advance this mission today. When you were younger, did you're hearing all these stories in the book of Acts and, Joshua, Jericho, like all these stories, did you just believe it? Was it a
100%.
You just agreed with it?
When my Sunday school teacher said something, I had no doubt in what he said. Everything that was in the Bible that he read to us, I was a firm believer. When he was swallowed by the whale, I figured, I don't think people can live in a whale, but the Bible says he could live in a whale, he can live in a whale.
It's okay. True.
It was true to me. I didn't have no doubts in it.
See, and I find that fascinating because we live in an age of so much asking why, toiling and struggling with faith and so much faithless, and so many people who have so many problems, who have so many issues and not finding success, or they're finding it in their own way and not being, happiness in the United States is on a massive decline. And, I find it fascinating because you just agreed with it. You went through a horrific combat tour, which we're going to get into. You built a top 500 business in the world, and you just agreed with God's word every step of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And do you understand? Do you know why you did that?
Well, you know what? And I'll go a little bit in the business here. I bought a company out every 6 weeks for 20 years.
Yeah.
I had a team behind me doing it. And every deal I made, I prayed over it. And when I'd go in and make the deal with the people, verbal deal or a paper-on-paper deal, I would go home, I'd go back to the hotel that night, and I'd pray about it. And the next day, if I went in there and they changed the deal, I'd walk out. I'd just say, I'm done. I don't want to do it. We had an agreement yesterday. And I walked out on a lot of deals. And they say, well, we don't have to do that. I said, it doesn't matter. When you pray to God for something, you don't say, if something changes and you don't like it because you want to do it, if you pray for an answer for something, you take the answer when it comes. Don't ignore it because it's just not a good thing. I've just never been that way.
So when you would have, a large deal on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and you would go back to the hotel and you'd pray.
Well, as long as we made the deal prior and we shuck on it and everything was okay, and then I go back and then they got greedy and wanted to start changing things, I'd just get up and leave. I'm not interested.
So, but the prayer, how would you pray? What did prayer look like for you when you were asking for wisdom about a deal?
Well, you know what? I'm a funny prayer. I pray different than everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't repeat myself to God. He's the smartest thing in the world ever. So I repeat myself one time. I just don't ask and ask. I just say, God, is this deal fair for me, good for my family, good for my company? I just need guidance. Give me some kind of an answer. Amen. My prayers are short and fast, and
Done.
I don't repeat myself and ask and ask and ask. And I got daughters that I love, definitely, but they'll ask for the same thing 5 times.
On and on and on and on. Yeah.
Well, I mean, God created everything, so why do you got to repeat it to him? He knows it when you think about it, let alone say it. So
Wow.
my prayers are always short, fast. Now, I have longer prayers when people are sick. I do a lot of begging then.
Begging.
Yeah.
Yeah. I find that really fascinating because there's a theme here of, because people want to have success in their life. I want to, you have an international company. I'm believing God for an international organization. Right now we're in, 1, 2, 3, we're in, 4 states, right? And it's like, you just believed what God said was true. You believed everything the Bible said was true. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to doubt it. And when I pray, I'm going to believe that God heard my prayer.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Where did you find that faith? How did you develop that faith?
I don't know. I don't know that I did. Like I said, I was born with it.
Yeah.
So even as a kid, you grow up in faith, and you find your friends that's the same way. I guess when I did finally really, really, I knew I was saved. Listen, I'm a unique person. I got saved every Sunday.
Sure.
Every Sunday.
So that was the only thing you had to repeat yourself on.
Every Sunday, the pastor would say, somebody want to come up and be saved? Yeah. So I'd go up and be saved. My mom says, son, you don't got to get saved every Sunday. Well, he asked me, and I thought I needed to go forward, so I did. So it was
His
just
message got me. So,
but as a kid and growing up, but when I got to Vietnam, it was a deal. We was out in the bush a lot, and we had our chaplain always out there. Now the chaplain, he didn't care if you was Catholic, Protestant, whatever you was. You all went out there and sat on your helmet, and he talked to you, and that really brought a lot of light to me then, because I'm sitting here with all different faiths, sitting on a helmet, with a gun by them, and the chaplain's telling us about the Lord. And I'm going, these guys come from because I always went to a Baptist. I was raised in a Pentecostal church.
Sure.
And all of us kids we're all Baptists now, but it's okay. My mom was Pentecostal, my dad
You're
was.
Baptist.
I'm a Baptist, Southern Baptist, I think. So anyway, over there it was different because I was mixed in with every faith there was that wanted to hear about the Lord, and it really. And these guys were dying; they was getting shot and wounded every day. We was in infantry. We was the 1st to 16th Rangers. We was in the bad stuff. Yeah. And we was in the cavalry basically. We sat on the base. And with 15 choppers, and when stuff hit the fan, man, all 15 choppers, 5 and 5 and 5 went out, and we landed in hot air zones all the time. So these guys that was with us was always worried about, was it going to get wounded or shot or hurt? And there a lot of prayers went on during that time, and the chaplain became a major deal to us when you're out in the bush, because we was out in the bush most of the time.
Yeah. Tell me about when you got your draft notice.
Well, when I got it, I didn't know. I was working at a chicken ranch, shoveling chicken manure and picking eggs and stuff.
Yeah, you were.
And I just wanted to date and have cars, and I got a letter. I moved out.
Like you wanted to date girls and have cars?
I wanted to date girls and have cars.
Got it.
That's how I love cars. And my mom said, you have a letter here. And I said, okay. So I stopped in and got it, and it said Uncle Sam. And I read it. Says, Mom, this letter says, who's Uncle Sam? We don't have no Uncle Sam. They want me to report to Oakland, California.
Wow.
And she said, well, that's the president, son. I had no idea who Uncle Sam was.
Wow.
And then she said, well, you've been drafted. You got to go to Fort Ord, California, or into Oakland to get shipped out where you're going to get shipped out. So that's when I found out that you have no control over your life, because you get off a bus and they shave your head and strip down naked and make you cough and give you some uniforms and send you out to boost camp, and you got a DI there that scares the heck out of you. But you grow up.
Was basic training hard?
Basic training wasn't hard for me because of my dad. It goes back to my dad. When we went through and we had to go through, when you first get in, you get a duffel bag, you can pick out your shoes and your boats, and you fill a duffel. I weighed 135, 40 pounds. They gave me a duffel bag weighed as much as I did.
Sure.
And we had to walk up the hill there in Fort Ord, California, to Tigerland, and and of course I'm sweating and beating, and of course you got a DI hollering at you and screaming at you. And then we found out there, if you didn't do exactly what he said, you'd be cleaning the floors and cleaning the latrines and sweeping half the night.
Yeah.
And I found out if you do what he says, then he'll let you be a squad leader.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to do as much.
Yeah.
So I did everything to make him happy, and I got to be a squad leader with him.
What would he have you do? What would be an example of a drill sergeant? This is something he tells you to do. That, all right, I'm going to do that.
Oh, make your bed,
Yep.
clean around in there. There can't even be a string left on your bed.
Yeah.
Get up and be out front on when Reveille went off in the morning,
Yeah.
don't let them wake you out of bed. Be up, be dressed. When the Reveille happened, you was out there first. You was out there standing in line, ready to do anything. Was there something for being volunteered to do? Volunteered for it.
Yeah.
And usually the DI would pick you out and say, okay, you're a leader, and give you 4 or 5 guys to be over. And that way you got out of all the heavy work. You didn't have to do KP.
Yeah.
You didn't have to go pick up trash, or you got to kind of like to be a leader, a boss.
Were drill sergeants ever physical then with guys?
I
With
don't
their
know
hands,
that
putting
they
their
ever
hands on
touch us. They could beat you to death with their voice.
Right.
Yeah, and a normal person can do 5 or 10 push-ups.
Yeah.
They said, give me 50. With a 50, I've never done 50 in a month. And I got to do 50. But at least he was gracious. He'd give me 50, and he'd turn his head. Then you would lie, and you go 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you do it.
Yeah.
But that was he knew you couldn't do it because we just couldn't do it. But they're tough. You might have to go through the monkey bars 3 times before you get to the mess hall.
Yeah.
But it was training you, making a team.
Yeah.
And you don't know that till you're in there for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then he drilled into you that you're a team. Everybody's a team. You work together, which was probably a really good training for me.
Yeah.
And then from there, you took tests to say what your MOS was going to be. I must have failed because I was infantry. So then I got sent to Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Yeah.
And when all my guys went to Vietnam, they held me back for a couple weeks to show me how to be an FDC, a fire directional center for the mortars.
Now, what's a fire directional center?
Well, when the FO calls in your coordinates, and I was really good with math and maps, and and when you go through training, they teach you how to read maps, and you got to go through the swamps and everything. So I could read it, so they held back the people that could do that. So when the FO calls in your coordinates and everything, you set out an azimuth and you know when to do it. Then you call into the guns, and the guns would set up, and then you're just talking to them, and the FO would say, fire 1 round for adjustment, 2 rounds for adjustment, and then he'd give you real coordinates, and then 10 rounds for effect. So I did that for probably 9 months. Then our FO got killed, and so they said, maps, you can go out in front of the company and you can be an FO.
Wow. So
you and your RTO is out in front of everybody. So it's pretty scary when you're all by yourself. But when there's ambushes, they usually let you go through the ambush. We went through the ambush twice. Our orders was, if the company gets hit, you and your RTO just keep going as far as you can, because if you come back, you're going to get killed. Just keep going as far as you can. And
out into the jungle.
And you go through the jungle, and a helicopter will pick you up down the road somewhere. But don't go back, because they already got a horseshoe set up. You ain't going to get back in. They let you go in to spring the trap. So I only got caught out twice.
What does that mean, caught out twice?
Well, they triggered an ambush and started shooting, and me and my RTO, we had to keep just going through the jungle till we could get way away from the fighting until they could pick us up.
And how would they know? Would you call?
We had radios.
And you call them where you are, they come get you.
Yeah, and as soon as we knew they were close, we'd throw smoke. We'd have green, yellow, purple smoke, whatever.
If it was just 2 of you, how did you never get captured?
Well, they didn't really send nobody after you. They was after the company or the battalion or whatever they was after.
Yeah.
And they were dug in. They wasn't going to go chase a lone rabbit. They just let you go.
Got it.
Well, I guess there's probably some could have got caught, but we knew when the gunfire started, just keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
Would
going.
you run?
Yeah, we pretty much got out of sight, out of mind, until things calmed down, and we heard choppers coming in to take out the wounded. We knew the fighting was over, and we still didn't come back in because we was cross lines, and we could get shot by friendly fire. So we just stayed out till the choppers would come and get us.
What was the first time that you got shot at and realized I'm in a war zone?
First time, I think it was first time we were flying into some rice paddies, and you can't land on the top of the rice paddies because they'll shoot you. So the chopper lands in just about 2 foot above the rice paddies, and you jump out, and of course you sink halfway to your waist in rice paddies, and then you crawl up to the side there, and that's when bullets and stains was flying all over the deal. We had to crawl in the rice paddies till we got to the riverbanks.
And you could hear bullets going over your
Yeah,
head.
we could hear them going over, and of course, our people, jets were coming in, and we could see napalm coming down and jets coming in, and the helicopter shooting. So then you realize, okay, and guys was getting shot and hurt. And of course, when they got shot, your whole deal is to go to somebody that's hurt. If they say they're screaming or they say they're hurt, if you can get to that person, you want to get to them. And that's how I didn't get my Purple Heart that way, but I got banged up pretty bad because we had some guys hit out. We just landed in choppers, and one of the guys got hit, and we had bandoliers around our deals with magazines in them, and of course our helmets wasn't buckled in, and you just jumped it on. As soon as you jumped off the chopper, you threw the helmet on. And when a guy got shot, one of the medics says, "I need to go out and get him." I said, "I'll go out and guard you." So I ran out in the opening with it, and when we got to the medic did it, we had to go back, and I got to running, and my bandolier got loose and got my knee and fell. And when it did, my helmet went down, and my head hit the helmet, knocked me out, which could have saved my life because it was in the middle of firefights, and it knocked me out. But when I woke up, I was squeaking wet, and of course that little cut here wasn't a big cut, maybe 1.5 inches. All that blood turned into sweat, and it looked like I was bleeding everywhere. So then, of course, then you realize, okay, I didn't die, but I thought I was dead.
Yeah.
So anyway, then the same thing happened when I got the Purple Heart. We dug in deep that night.
Yeah.
And when you dig in, everybody digs a foxhole with a chute hole in the right hand side and the left hand side, so like this way. And we got in, they couldn't bring no metal in, so we had to cut down trees. And we cut down like 5-inch trees and we brought sandbags, and we put them on it. And me and Lamb was laying on the top because it was really hot, and we heard thump 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 thump. That we knew them were mortars coming in. So we jumped
Enemy mortars.
Enemy mortars. So we jumped in the foxhole, and first couple rounds hit the top of our foxhole. Would have buried me and him. And I said, "Lamb, you okay?" And he says, "Yeah." And I said, "Can you see?" And he says, "I can see, but I can't move. I'm buried." And I said, "I can see out mine too, but I can't move either," because it collapsed on us. And we figured, okay, if they come, we can't even throw grenades because we couldn't get to them. We just had our own guns. But anyway, they never came across. But at that time, I had shrapnel all over my arm and back, and we was sweating again. So when they got us out of there, of course, I was blood everywhere, and I thought, I don't know where I'm hurt. I didn't hurt.
Yeah.
But I had blood everywhere.
So you had shrapnel all from the mortar in you, and you didn't even feel it.
Didn't feel it. No, because you was kind of shook up about everything.
Yeah.
And it was like a whole bunch of little BBs, because it's pieces of shrapnel.
Don't you still have a couple BBs in your arm?
It's gone now. But
Yeah,
it took
okay.
years to come out.
Yeah.
But they don't dig it out. If it's just under the skin a little bit, they said it'll come out over time.
Yeah.
So, but I get sewed up in the back because a big piece there came in. But they sent us in, and in the Big Red One, you had to be wounded really bad, or at least 3 times before you went home. So, went back out in the field.
And that was only once.
Only once. That's only once. And we was in a pretty bad outfit. I'd say 80% of the guys in our outfit had Purple Hearts,
Wow.
and probably 20% of them were killed during that year I was there.
How did Lamb, your RTO, get killed?
Lamb didn't make it. He went out on an ambush, and the ambush got killed trying to come back in.
Yeah.
He was only 20. He was 22 years old, and he was a high school coach. He just got out of school to be a coach, and he just didn't make it.
Yeah. Were you with him, or were you back?
No, I was back I went back over to help the FTC, and he was my RTO, so he went out to be an RTO with another lieutenant. And then they got caught in a firefight.
How'd you find out he was killed?
That night when we heard radios going on and everything, we heard that they got overran. So I knew Lamb was out there. So because we was in a, you go out and you make a circle. A company makes a circle, and then you send out LPs. About an LP goes out maybe 100 feet, and that's one person. And then ambushes go out. 6 or 7 guys go out. They might go out 2 football fields away. Yeah. And that's 6 or 7 guys. So there's ambushes, and you got LPs, and then you got all the foxholes that goes around, and all the mortar guys are in the middle, and the captain. Yeah. So it's every night. Every night you had to dig in. Every night, because we didn't. The only time we ever stayed very long, more than 4 or 5 days, we was securing a made up a base where they could land some aircraft. We might stay there for a week and a half, and after that we was out on the well, we was like the cavalry. We was somewhere every night, somewhere else. In all those incidents, were you ever present when a soldier died in front of you? Oh, we had it. Yeah, we had. Well, we had to carry a lot of them. People watch cowboy shows and they take a dead person and throw it over their back. Well, that's not true. When you're working with a dead person, it takes 2 or 3 guys to pick up a dead person. They're so heavy. They're like a noodle, and they're real heavy. Yeah. And so you're always having to. The ones that's wounded, if their muscles work, then you can carry them. But if their muscles ain't working, you ain't carrying them. That's crap. You can't carry a dead person. It's too hard. So we'd have to put them on the helicopter. So we was around it. We was around it quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah. It was a changing deal in my life. When I come back home, I was grown up. I was a grown man. I wasn't a kid anymore. What do you think changed in you over that year? Changed me was what as time went on, life become more precious to me. I would never do anything that I thought I could get hurt at, because right after I got back, me and my wife got married, and we started having kids. And as I built my first company, I realized then, okay, I had a platoon. I had people work with me in the military. I'd take care of them. Well, I treated my company the same way. These people come to work for me. They got to have homes. They want their kids to go to school. Yeah. So I need to take care of them. I went to work, but I went to work to make sure they had jobs and to keep them. And use a lot of paint to keep things clean, line everything up like the military does, and use a chain of command on everything. Yeah. So did you come back from Vietnam in 1968? 67. 67. What was the country like? Had the anti-war things begun? They didn't like us. Yeah. There was a lot of, especially in California. I came back to California. I just kind of come back and put my civilian clothes on and stayed away from all that. Yeah. I just went and did my own thing, because you could see it on the news, and there was always protesting. And I understand back then I was young. The president said you got to go fight a war. Yeah. But as I look back on it, that Vietnam War was uncalled for. But you know what? When you're an American, you do what your president says. That's right. And that's what you do. You fight for your country. Yeah. I'm trying to remember an experience. Didn't you go to a college and the gal was speaking evil about GIs and about serving in the military, and you were like, I'm out of here? I'm trying to remember that story. Yeah, well, it was a graduation for a friend of mine, and they started talking, and I just said, Joe, I really like him. I really appreciate him, but I'm not going to sit here and listen to this. I don't hang around people like that. As soon as something like that comes up, I'm not going to fight with them and try to change them. I just said, hey, we're out, we go, we'll just leave, because we got our own family, our own life, and to me, it's what's best for, well, first of all, God's first, your family, then your country. Yeah. It's not my company, because God gave me that company. I went to the 12th grade, and he gave me a $40 billion company. I mean, how do you do that? But I prayed over everything. God gave me the wisdom to make it happen, and he made me to make the right decisions, and the right decision for the right people. So I don't argue with nothing of that nature. I just, when something is bothering me in politics or whatever, I just avoid it. I don't try to change people. I let the news reporters try to change people, but I'm not going to. You got a short life here. Take care of your family, take care of your friends, take care of everybody you could take care of, and your foundation. And we got a good foundation, and we help a lot of Christian things. And I don't give money to nothing unless it's based around Christianity.
Yeah.
You know, I say that, but you know, kids with cancer, I do.
Sure.
They're all Christians. All them kids are going to go to heaven anyway. So you overlap that. But everything else, if we use our foundation, and we got a pretty big foundation, and it's just because from day one, my mom and dad always gave their 10%. I know people says 10%, 10%, but mom always tells you give you 10%, and you can get tithes over that. You don't have to just give 10%.
Yeah.
You know, and so from day one, we've always done that. Me and my wife, from the day one we did it. We've never stopped. All the money I've always made, I put it back in the company. As I pulled the money out of the company, then we sit down and we move the money to the foundation immediately. And that way it's like, okay, we put it in there and then let it grow. And I believe in tithing. I believe all the Christianity has to be like, you need to send people out across America, across the world, to teach Christ. And so mission fields are really important. But to me, the biggest mission field is America, because if we lose America, we've lost the world.
Yeah.
But
Fully
I still believe in mission fields.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, thank you so much for being a part of the Engage Your Destiny family and listening to the podcast. I want to share with you an exciting new development as God has opened the doors for us to launch our program at Fort Carson, Colorado this summer. Fort Carson, Colorado is the home of the 4th Infantry Division and the 10th Special Forces Group. These are some of the most elite warriors in the world. So we are expanding our program, and we need your help. Just for $44 a month, you can support a soldier, feeding them, loving on them, getting the material support, giving them the opportunity to go to Engage Your Destiny retreats and events to bring healing into their life and transformation to their faith. So I want to invite you into this, to join the team and to join the fight as we are expanding our program. And we need to remember that those who are willing to die for their country deserve an opportunity to know the God who died for them. So join us in this, and let's advance this ministry together. What strikes me is, I've heard your story many times, but you were so focused. And especially even now in your foundation, you're so focused. In your business, you were so focused. And, you know, the Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways, right? And a lot of young people today are very double-minded. They have a lot of distractions. They're thinking about so many different things because there's so much more access to information. If you were speaking to a young person who's trying to make decisions in their life, what advice would you give about how you've used your focus to do what God's told you to do?
I think if I do with my grandkids, pick good friends, stay within the word of what God wants you to understand, and don't take no gray areas. I never took gray areas in taxes. I don't take gray areas in nothing. What the law is the law, and I believe the law the way it's supposed to be. And the law of the Bible is the law of the Bible. You need to follow that. And it doesn't matter if you like it or don't. That's what you need to do. And you'll be blessed. Look, we don't have hardly, there's a whole bunch of, we got a big family. We had 8 of us kids. We all got big families. And my wife's come from a good-sized family. She's got all good family. And we found out that they're all Christian-based. And God's blessed us. We don't have a lot of death or bad diseases in our family, which is better than making money. I mean, it's you got good health in your family. And I just say, how are we blessed? We're blessed with good friends. We're blessed with health. We're blessed with good knowledge how to run a company. And God's always blessed us. I don't wake up and don't think He's not going to bless me. I don't have that doubt.
Questioning if He's going to bless you or guide you or give you wisdom.
He gives me wisdom.
You don't question that.
No, I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. He got my brain working. 2 o'clock in the morning, I'll grab, I used to be a yellow pad. I'd go downstairs and write it. Now I've got my phone. I go down and make notes. And then I go back to bed at 4 o'clock. But He brings answers to me in the middle of the night. Why? I don't know. Just happens. It's a unique deal. And but all the companies that I do business with know where we stand.
Yeah.
If you go to the Arab Emirates, which we had operations there, and you go into our buildings, there's Christmas trees there.
Yep.
We have Christmas trees everywhere. And if they believe in it, they believe in it. If they don't, our company does.
Yeah.
All the people, we start all of our company meetings off with prayers and thanking the Lord for how he's blessed his company. And we got like 15,000 employees.
15,000
and they
people.
all know we're a Christian ran company. We don't tell them they got to be Christians. We don't force nothing down their throat. But they know we're and my CEO, my chairman of the board now, is, and most of upper Asher, not all of them. We try to witness to them, but they don't have to be a Christian to work for us. They'll just learn by being around us. Sometimes you when you're younger, you do a lot of witnessing, and you think you're going to rush to get people to be saved. As you get older, people pay attention to your life and your lifestyle and your decisions.
And almost your authority.
Your authority, yeah. Just by seeing how you take care of yourself, and you don't try to change quarter, change anything. Let's just follow the rules. Let's just do what you like. When you're talking to somebody, you're talking to, okay, when I'm talking to you like, okay, you could be the Lord talking to me, so I better be answering right. So that's just the way we are. Both families that way.
Man, you guys, I have been so blessed to be able to interview Willis Johnson, a friend, a mentor, and a man of God. Part 2 is going to dramatically impact your life. We're going to hit you with it next week, so please don't miss that. I also want to remind you to go to engageyourdestiny.org and learn more about what God is doing in the military, and support us and join our fighting force so that we can advance the kingdom together. We'll see you guys again soon.